Tom Homan is the acting director of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Today's his last day. He joins us from our nation's capital. Tom, I know you have dedicated your entire life to law enforcement. To see how quickly those police in downtown Annapolis were able to get there and save those lives, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know, it's law enforcement. They should be respected. These men and women run toward danger when everybody else is running away. And that's why I've been sickened the last couple of months about the attack on ICE officers. Also, American heroes that strap a gun to their hip every day are being vilified by members of Congress and the media. So this, yesterday was an example of what law enforcement officers step on that line and put themselves at risk. So they should be respecting law enforcement across the board rather than vilifying them.
When you see these protesters, 500 arrested inside a Capitol office building on Thursday, you see celebrities saying we need to abolish ICE. What is your reaction to the threats against your agency?
They need to educate themselves. I mean, this protest yesterday, they were protesting about family separations on the border. ICE doesn't separate families on the border. That's the Border Patrol. We're a different agency. So they need to get their facts straight and inform themselves what's actually happening and understand there's two different agencies with two different missions. Border Patrol does this and ICE does this. So first thing they do is need to educate themselves. Now, I'm not throwing Border Patrol under the bus. I think they're doing what they need to do. When you prosecute an illegal alien and they're with a child, you're going to be separated. The same thing happens to U.S. citizens all across this country. When you arrest a parent and you put them in jail, many times that child has to go to Child Protective Services if there's no one there to protect them. So what these open borders people want, they want better rules for illegal alien families than we have for U.S. citizen families.
So I understand that there's more and more communities who are terminating their contract with ICE because of people like Senator Kamala Harris calling for its elimination, including Texas City, over in Sacramento, over in Virginia. What's your reaction to them terminating their lucrative contracts with ICE? These are an effort to crack down on illegals amongst us.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I want to get back to family separations just for a moment. If the American public wants to know who to blame for family separations, the first people that need to blame is Congress. We went up to the Hill several months ago and told them what the loopholes were about the Florida settlement agreement. We said, you can fix this. If we can fix the Florida settlement agreement, we can keep the families together in a family facility till they see a judge. But they failed to fix it. They don't want to fix it, so we're doing Operation on the Border, what Congress failed to do. So members of Congress are upset about family separations. They need to look in the mirror because they failed their job on fixing it. As far as these jurisdictions walking away from ICE, what they're actually doing, okay, we're not going to house aliens in this jurisdiction anymore, so when we arrest an alien in that jurisdiction, we're going to have to move them probably out of state, away from their families, away from their legal support, just because you're trying to make a political statement. You're actually hurting the immigrant community by making these decisions.
Meanwhile, you've got some on the political left who are very vocal. They're very extreme. For instance, Cynthia Nixon, Sex and the City actress who's now running for governor of the great state of New York. She's in this montage, Tom, of different people calling for the abolition of ICE. But she's also the same person who in the last week or two referred to ICE as a terrorist outfit. Listen.
ICE has strayed so far from its mission. It's frankly a terrorist organization of its own.
Is legislation on the floor of Congress regarding the abolishment of ICE. I do think that a lot of this legislation points to the America that we want to have.
The president's created this situation where ICE isn't doing what it was created to do. It's being used as his own personal police force.
I believe you should get rid of it, start over, reimagine it, and build something that actually works.
Are they right?
Absolutely not. And what really upsets me is a lot of these representatives are in the state of New York, which I'm a native New Yorker. As far as Gillibrand, she needs to study the issue, too, because she went to a protest yesterday about family separation on the border. Then she turns around and blames ICE for it, about ICE separating families. So first of all, she's got to get her facts straight. Second of all, if you want to do away with ICE and abolish ICE, before she says that, she needs to know that ICE took 5,000 criminal aliens off the street in New York that walked out of her sanctuary jails that she supports. She needs to meet with the sheriffs on the northern border about the millions of dollars in resources ICE has spent on the northern border in New York to shut down the opioid crisis and the cross-border crime. These people want to make a judgment about ICE. We are enforcing the laws that they enacted. So you have a congressman or senator saying abolish ICE because they're too effective. We're out doing our sworn oath, enforcing the laws that they enacted, and they're going to vilify us for doing it.
Yeah, and if they don't like the way the arrests are done, can you answer if one of those people have ever made an arrest in their life that even know the right procedure? I do have to bring you to a New York Times story that says 19 ICE agents, without giving their names, wrote a letter to Secretary Nielsen looking to abolish the agency. What's your response to that?
No, they're not looking to abolish the agency. The HSI branch, which is a part of ICE, they're under a lot of pressure in sanctuary cities. These special agents, they want to do child porn investigations, they want to do drug trafficking investigations. But in big cities, the task force members have walked away just because HSI falls under ICE. They want nothing to do with ICE. I met with the Coast Guard the other day. The Coast Guard is having trouble in California working with local law enforcement because they're part of DHS. So it's not about abolishing ICE. HSI, they're frustrated. They want to do their job, but sanctuary cities won't operate with them or work with them. So they think if they move out and get out from under that ICE moniker, that they'll be able to work better. I think that's wrong. I think what we need to do is fix the sanctuary cities and outlaw sanctuary cities that are a danger to the American people. And as far as these senators and congressmen vilifying ICE and the Border Patrol, as you said, sir, go strap a gun to your hip, stand on the line, stand on that trail at 3 o'clock in the morning in total darkness, waiting on someone to come down that trail to meet you. You don't know if they're an illegal alien or a heavily armed drug trafficker. Do that job. Stand that post. Then badmouth the Border Patrol or ICE agents.
Tom,
do the job.
34 years serving our country. We want to thank you for that. How are you feeling today, knowing it's your last day and you're retiring?
I'm very proud to serve my country for 34 years. It's the biggest honor of my life to be the acting director of ICE. I'm leaving with mixed emotions because I'm leaving in the middle of a fight. I'm insulted at a lot of the Democratic senators and congressmen that want to vilify the men and women that put their lives on the line every day for this country. Strap a gun to their hip and leave the safety and security of their homes to defend this nation. And they're going to vilify them. And they're going to abolish ICE for things ICE isn't even doing. They're going to abolish ICE for enforcing the laws that they enacted. It's ridiculous what's going on right now. So I'm leaving with mixed emotions. But I can tell you this, I may be retiring it was a great honor of running this agency, the greatest honor of wearing a Border Patrol uniform back in the day. But I'm not leaving this fight. I'm going to continue to stay in this fight. I'll continue the fight in the lawsuit against California. I'm going to continue the fight against sanctuary cities. And as a civilian, I can say a lot more than I can as a federal employee. So I'm not giving this fight up.
Well, you don't sound like you're holding back. So look out. You're ready to peel the paint. And if people are going to wrongly accuse ICE of doing stuff, you're going to hold them accountable.
You know, Tom, the president, you were going to retire before. The president picked up the phone and he said, hey, you can't do it. And you said, OK, I'll do it a little while longer. You should check your phone in the next 5 minutes. There's always a possibility.
And that's what, people want to vilify me and attack my character. I left several $100,000 on the table to come back and do this job for this president. He's the president of the United States. And what really irritates me leaving this job, he's the president of the American people. His success would be a success for this country, but they want to constantly vilify him. This president has done more for border security and public safety than the 6 presidents I worked for, and I honor and respect them all, but no one's done more than him. I want to leave with one statement. For these people, these congressmen that want to vilify the heroes that work for Border Patrol and for ICE, we're not asking you to cut us any slack. We just ask you, show a little recognition for the difficult job they do and then putting their lives on the line every day. I wish there was this much outrage about angel moms that their children were killed by illegal aliens and they're separated forever. I didn't hear any outrage from these congressmen. But when we start separating illegal aliens, there's an outrage.
All right. Tom,
incredible.
Well said.
Thank you very much for your service.